Hello, hello.
Welcome back
Welcome back
to the Heal Hot Girl podcast.
episode 6.
Episode 6.
It is
Yeah,
episode 6.
That's crazy.
I was going to say 5, but you're right. We're on 6.
I can't
wow.
believe we're on 6
I
already.
know.
I'm proud of us.
I am too.
So exciting.
It seems like it's gone by super quick.
I feel like the longest part of this was getting ready for the pod. And like
Always.
everything that we had to do to like get ready for it.
Yeah.
And then the launch. And then now it's like literally every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're in your ear.
Yes, rolling along.
The people are excited. The reception has been really great,
Yeah.
too.
No, it has. We were out last night and we had like a few people, like people that I know or like have already had a relationship
Yeah.
with that, but have come up to me and been like, I really love the idea. Like you guys are fun to listen to. We enjoy it. And like, I didn't really know coming into it what it was going to be like, but I think it's like definitely exceeded
For sure.
like what I thought was going to happen and like the expectations on like what I had. I didn't really have any.
Definitely.
I was just like, well, let's roll the dice.
It's been dope to see even like the analytics on YouTube and like our TikTok following growing
Yeah.
and social media. People are really engaged. And so thank you all for just tuning in and listening. Like we appreciate it. And I think it's just helping us continue to move in purpose and we're in alignment.
Absolutely.
I remember our first episode. Would we say we had 66 followers? on
63,
Instagram?
I think. 63 or 66.
A real 63, though. Like,
Yes.
those were very real people.
Yes.
We love those people. But now we've got, like, 300 something.
Yeah,
350.
Yeah. So, like,
360.
I don't know. The growth has been crazy in a small amount of time. So it's just great to see the reception and, like, that everybody's sort of getting the vibes that, you know.
Yeah, in like a month,
Yeah.
30 days.
It's crazy.
It's my favorite thing to look at.
Shout out to HHG. Hello, hotties.
We're excited.
We have some juicy topics, you know.
Oh, today is a day.
What is
Today is your favorite day.
Is it
rebuke?
Is it down in the DMs? Day?
Rebuke.
What is
We
it?
can't be down the DMs day, but today was the Situationships.
We love the situation.
That's really where we were taking the ride today.
That is a hot topic.
Yes. Because I
And-
think it's something we all.
The hot girls want to know.
Rebuke. Rebuke. On rebuke it.
Okay, what is the situation? All right, how do you define a situationship? Anyone?
A non-relationship. I think
Yeah,
anything that's not a formal relationship, which is why I'm like,
I was also talking to someone apparently, and like I feel like I need other people to weigh in. Like when y'all listen to this episode, please weigh in and tell us. But like, is there now a stage between like talking and like pre-talking? Because like I swear to God, it sounds like talking is its own stage now. Like people are like, we're not talking, we're like,
I kind of
what are
get
you
that.
doing?
Okay,
I
yeah,
get
the-
that.
you're
The
not
pre-talk,
talking,
yes.
but like you're.
I wouldn't say pre-talking. I would just say pre-dating. So like, we're I get, or maybe I just use the word dating very loosely
Because
it just sounds better.
well, that's the thing. Because to me, if I'm saying I'm dating you, I feel like
You're only dating that specific
there's
person.
some aspect of exclusivity to it. However,
There's rules and boundaries.
but then what's the difference between being in a relationship? You know what I mean? Like if we're only dating each other,
All of
See,
these
but I
different
don't-
levels. I feel like everything that's not a relationship is a situationship.
I feel like you can date multiple people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right?
1000%.
I agree with that.
Getting to know openly. So I feel like a big part of like dating at this age is this big age is really like the purpose of it is to get to know different people.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you have to sleep with every single person, but you're getting to know. And so like, listen, choices A through, and so who's runner up, who's second, who's off the bench, who's the sixth man, like.
who's your point guard? Who's running the plays?
Who's the shooter?
I'm actually the point guard because I run all the plays. But no, I think I remember doing a video when I turned 30. Michael Jordan, that's me, MJ, with a pull up. No. But I remember when I turned 30, I had these questions because I was like, okay, dating is such a broad word. But I almost feel the pre-talking phase, because I feel like when you first meet somebody, that's the pre-talking phase, right? If I just met someone yesterday
So complicated.
and we just start talking, then it's like, okay, there's no, obviously before I met you today, you had people in your life beforehand. And so, but then, okay, some time goes by and now it's like, okay, now we're talking, right? Because you're talking more regularly. You're sharing things with each other, more like kind of letting someone into your life.
It all sounds like an entanglement to me.
That's true.
But I
It all
feel
sounds like an
like
entanglement.
dating, there's definitely the talking element. You got to get to know someone, and then there's an investment in that pre-talking stage. We'll say pre-talking because Sam's saying pre-talking. We're going to run with it. But there's definitely a level of investment throughout that period. And so you're getting to know, and I feel like you move on to phase 2 once you feel like, is this someone that I wholeheartedly want to pursue?
Yeah.
You know, and there are ways, like I think people initially present themselves, it's like when you're going for an interview. So best foot forward,
Yeah.
and a lot that is shared sounds good for the non-intentional man or the non-intentional woman, and then reality hits, and then you are able to kind of just like make a decision just based on how they move. So definitely a pre-talking stage, but at that point it just
It's decision making time.
Yeah.
It's like you're deciding whether or not you want to continue to get to know this person, or if I've seen enough.
are we running the same play, or we got to change?
Yeah. Do we need to sub some people in?
Ask for a timeout.
We need a timeout.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and I think that one thing about our whole generation that's, I think, different than the other is just the evolution of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I think that at a time when my parents were, because my mom's very confused by everything that we do. She really doesn't understand the whole like talking thing, dating. She's like, well, yeah, you're talking. Of course you're talking. You're using your mouth. So she, you know what I mean? So like I feel like older people don't really understand our generation, but it's become a lot more unconventional. Mm-hmm. I think the way that relationships look for people our age than it was 40 years ago, 30 years ago, even 20 years ago. And one of the things that is part of my astrology, I don't want to misspeak, so let me pull it up. But it's in regards to kind of like our generation. Because Uranus is in Sagittarius for a 7-year span.
Okay.
So that typically tends to include people within the 7 years, right?
Got it.
Or maybe it's 14. I have to check. 7 or 14, but either way, significant amount of time. So usually that's within the age range that we're probably dating, 7 years, right? And because of the planets, allegedly, that's why we have our other, let me get this together. Other generations are shocked by us having unconventional relationships because we're changing the narrative when it comes to relationships. It sounds like our generation and people our age. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, like marriage doesn't seem as appealing to a lot of people.
Rebuke. Y'all know that financial podcast I listened to. She said marriage is financial protection for the woman. Like if you're having this man's babies, right? Like that is literally financial protection for you. Like that's how I'm looking at marriage now. Not even as like a partnership. Like this is security. This is like insurance.
No, Sam's not playing. She's very serious.
I never heard this, by the way. This is the first time hearing.
No, she did. She sent us the
I
bullet
sent you guys.
points.
Remember?
Are you kidding me?
About the
Yes.
prenup bullet points that I took.
Oh, okay. Yes,
And I want us to touch
yes.
on that because, share some tips to the ladies.
Yeah. Oh, we got some
You know,
tips to share.
There's folks.
It's financial protection. That's what marriage is.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Now, but my mentor actually did share. He's an older man, and one of the things that he expressed early on is marriage is a financial compromise. And it shed perspective. I still feel like I would like to get married. Mm-hmm. I desire that. I feel that piece of me won't change of wanting to build a family. But to your point, there's so much that comes with it. And so it sounds appealing in theory, but there's a lot that goes into it. And so hoping that I find the right person, so that we could be one and done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We definitely want to be one and done. Like,
Oh,
I'm not
yes.
mad that we waited, because we're seeing a lot of people our
Still
age
waiting.
have gone through divorce. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Continue
Like,
to wait.
I'm happy we're here. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, that we're not, like, because we could be divorced right now with 2 kids, and like that's beautiful too. But like, if you want to be one and done,
sure,
you
for
know what
sure.
I mean? A lot of people who got married young, I found, like, are divorced or
Yeah.
having trouble or separated, or it is what it is. But
I think you learn so much about yourself, though. And I think one thing, which I don't know if it's good or bad, but that was the thing my mom always told me, like, don't get married before you're 30, because you change so much.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to Ashley today, the girl that does my makeup. And I was just like, even she's 30, I'm 34. I'm like, even from 30 to 34, the way that I view relationships have changed. The things that I want in a relationship has changed. The type of person that I want to date and possibly marry has changed. And I think that that's one of the things that when it comes to marriage is it's a commitment. It's a choice you're making. You're deciding that you want to take this journey with somebody, take this ride with somebody. And I don't know, if I was younger, if I would have been down for that commitment to, like, ride the wave. You know what I
Whatever
mean?
comes with,
Because
yeah.
I think that there's a lot that happens once you decide to get into a marriage.
sure.
And I think younger me probably would have jumped ship if something was, like, not the way I wanted it to be, or it wasn't going the way I wanted it to go. But now that I'm older, I know more about what I want. I feel more confident in the relationships I engage in, and I think I would be willing to see it through more than.
so, what do you want, LB?
You know,
What do you want right now? Yeah.
that's a funny. I know what I don't want,
Yeah.
and I think that's more. That list is longer.
Always is.
That list is longer, but I think that I don't have a bullet point list, which might be the problem. Do you remember, Jess, when we were having a conversation a couple of years ago with one of your friends on the roof, and he said that we should have
A list.
yes.
Yes. Yes. Where are we going with this?
Well, what do you think about that? Do we think we
Oh.
need a list, I guess, is what I'm saying. Do we think that
I do.
is it important, I guess, to write these things down? Or no?
Yes. I think that there's definitely, before that conversation, I don't think, I had an idea, and I still feel like what my needs are evolving, but there are some non-negotiables and just like the foundational kind of things that I'm clear on.
Yeah.
So like I know what I don't want, but I only know what I don't want based on what I've been exposed to thus far. So that
Right.
list can continue to change too.
Yeah.
I do feel that we as women should translate some of those thoughts and be able to visually see that in our notepad app on the iPhone.
Yes,
So we
the
can
note
go-
app, the notes.
So because I have like 300 notes in there, and
I have like 600.
No, seriously, but I do feel that we should, and part of that reason is really one. I think it's a good kind of just like journal, like how I journal my workouts or how we journal in general. You kind of go back to periods and times, and like you're able to kind of reflect and touch upon certain things, and like also say, okay, this is where I've evolved or whatnot. So those needs might change. We might be like, yo, minimum 6 feet, or just as basic, right? Like super surface level.
Physical characteristics.
Yes, physical, like super surface. But that minimum 6 feet might not be like the thing. But I also feel like part of like in the Bible, they say like, be very specific. Ask God exactly what it is that you need. God, I want patience. You better be clear with the type of patience you're seeking for. And so kind of the same thing in this aspect of what is it that you want out of a partner? What is it that you'd like for someone to feel, be, do?
For you.
Yeah.
I think the part of that list, and whether you write it down or it's in your head, and I do think there's power of writing things down, but I think the part of that that's powerful is because when you write it down, you have to be clear about what you want. And so it's really easy once you're clear on what you want to say no to other things. And that
Absolutely.
applies for like not just relationships, but like work and whatever. Like
Yeah.
when you're clear on what it is, anything that's not that is easy to say no to once you're clear. So I
So
think
it sounds
that's
like
the
you're in
power
favor of a
it.
list.
Yeah,
little
I'm in
bit.
favor of a list. Whether you write it down, whether it's in your head, but like being clear about what you want. And like, so when someone says like, so what is it that you want? You don't have to give them like, your 25 check, but like
Someone asked
what
me
I'm looking
recently.
for is like, these things, and to be clear and confident about that. Cause I feel like I've had men ask me in like dating type situations where it's like, what are you looking for? And I could answer the same. I'm like, well, I know what I'm not looking for.
Right.
And then I start to answer what I'm looking for. And like, because I haven't really spent time thinking about it, the answers that are coming out are the ones that I think I want, I think I'm supposed to say. And then when I sat back and thought about it, I'm like, wait, that's not right either. Like, so I think you have to be clear on what it is that you want.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the list does. It's like it makes you
Spells it out for
clear,
you, like in front
about
of you
what you're
too.
looking
Yeah.
for, yeah.
I went out one night and I was on the hot seat. And the person asked me, what is it that I want? And
Hot girl, hot seat on a date.
Yeah, hot girl, hot seat on a date. And I had expressed like the two things that I like want right now, because I'm not looking for a formal commitment. If something turns into something, it does. But I'm not actively in search of like my man. But I had responded. I just transparency and consistency. I feel like those are the two things right now that if any person I'm gonna share a connection with, I would need that from them, and I too would, reciprocity. So it would go both ways.
Yeah, and I think that like if there was an MVP of situationships, I'm not gonna say that it would be me, but I'm also gonna say it wouldn't be me.
Derek Rose. Okay.
But I think that part of it also, because recently, like I haven't had a serious relationship in a long time. Like I probably haven't had a serious relationship since my 20s, but I've had boyfriends, like not intimate relationships, but like exclusive relationships. I've had exclusive relationship with men, but not to the level that it was at a certain point. And I think because for me, I've been going through trying to figure out why, and it's the level of vulnerability that you have to have in those relationships that I'm uncomfortable with, because I think that I always like to keep people at a certain distance. And I like to it's easier for me, like I said, to talk to people or get people to talk to me about things than it is for me to open up. And I'm realizing as I'm getting older that if I really want the type of relationship that I say that I want, that there's things that I have to do. And one of them is being vulnerable and like letting your guard down. And I tend to, the way I operate with people is always giving them the benefit of the doubt, because why not, But I still think that I keep a very closed off emotional barrier.
I think there's definitely that piece of like having to be wary too.
Yeah.
But you have also, it's one of those things that I feel like just observing people, her friend, it's something that you're putting your foot forward on and like looking to be more vulnerable, having kind of tough conversations. Kind of like when you said, I'm not going to apologize for asking for what I need. And so at least it's something that like you recognize of yourself. And I think it's important for us all to like, if there's certain patterns or dating outcomes, sometimes it doesn't always have to be a reflection of the other person. It could be you. And sometimes you really do have to have those check-in points of like, am I handling or people the same exact way? If so, let me at least, change one piece or work towards one area and see what the outcome is. And it doesn't always have to be what relationship, but there's some kind of growth within self. And so like, I too had felt like I was, you're not getting that piece. And then I had allowed myself to let the guard down, because I was like, God, whatever the outcome is, just lead the way.
God.
Kodak moment, please,
God.
God, help me find my husband. God.
Please, God. Help me find my man. Thank you.
Help me. No. But point is it was good to see myself on the other side, even though it didn't work out. It did teach me that I could be able to feel again. It reminded me that I can feel again the way that I felt before, and it's okay for me to open up and be more comfortable with that piece and also understand that with vulnerability comes risk.
Sure does.
Acceptance.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I agree. And
I want to hear no. I want to hear the hottie. What's your last situationship like?
Oh, rebuke. I plead the fifth. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Rebuke. Rebuke. Alyssa?
What was your last situationship? MVP?
they're all situationships. Like, they're all.
What did your last one teach you? How about that, if anything?
I'm just trying to think of the last one that I had. I think it taught me that I actually do want a relationship. I think the situationships I'm done with because also it also gives the other party like the 1 foot in, 1 foot out
That access.
dance. You know what I mean? So you create a space to kind of allow this person. There is no expectation, I guess. You're not in an exclusive relationship, so there's always a habitual line to step, right? There's always well, we're not together. There's always a but. There's always a reason why they can do something, whether that be, not answering the phone, staying out late, engaging still in relationships with other women. It gives an out, an automatic out.
Do you feel like you can have a situationship but also establish clear boundaries? Because I really don't know the clear like, I know what a situationship is, and Jesse's so naive, but like clear cut, I'm real clear cut. Some things for me gotta be a little bit black and white.
Well, and I think
so. Like, go ahead. No.
Well, no, I think that's why we're different in that way.
Yeah.
Like, you're definitely like more of a relationship person.
Yeah.
And I'm just really not.
Yeah, I'm cut. Yeah.
Yeah, like the way that you just maneuver. Yeah, like it's hard. Like for me, I think I've just kind of always, relationships have always, I remember going back to like high school, because I always had boyfriends, but I just remember not always wanting to be in relationships. Like, I'm a very free person. And that's why I struggle too, is because I like to have my space too. And I like to live my life the way I want to live my life. And I like to do what I want to do. So it's like, I had sometimes it would be hard for me to ask somebody else of something when I wasn't willing to do, or ask questions about something that I wasn't willing to answer.
Fair.
Because if you're going to ask that question, you got to be ready to answer
Got
it.
Okay.
Or you got to be ready for the answer
Right.
that you're going to get. And I think for me, situationships were great because I could twiddle around wherever I wanted to, and I wasn't doing anything wrong. But then at the same time, if somebody did to me, I'm looking at them like,
We're feeling away.
yeah. And eventually, I think it just kind of got to be my like usual type of style of relationship. So I just got used to it because I could still do what I wanted to do. He could still do what he wanted to do. But then when we were together, it was great. But then I think naturally you start to have expectations. I think naturally you catch feelings. So even if you don't want to feel like that, you do. And I think that for me, it was easy for me to kind of that's where that guard and vulnerability would come up, because it would be like, well, I can't completely be myself with this person because there's still a chance that X, Y, and Z might happen, or he might end up going somewhere else, or he might end up dating someone else. And then when I would try to tighten up and kind of be like, okay, well, either we're together or we're not, a lot of times it would be like, well, I'm not ready. We were in that's why I kind of liked what we were doing, blah, blah, blah. So especially more recently, I'll just be like, okay, cool. This isn't what I want to do anymore. I respect it because I engaged in it. So I understand why you feel the way that you do. But for me, it's not working anymore.
Right.
And so that really more lately is when I was like, okay, you really don't. And that's how the last few situationships have ended, is like, I wanted to come to a resolution. I wanted to take the next step. And then didn't even necessarily need to be like, come home to Buffalo and meet my parents, like have a picnic with us in Delaware Park. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't have to go all the way to that level, but I expected some form of commitment when it came to dealing with other people. So when that happened, I would get met with, I don't know if they weren't expecting it, which I don't know how you can expect it, but it was like, oh, well, wait, whoa, like, I'm still in the streets a little bit.
Right.
Sure, fine, no problem, be in the streets, but I'm going to go home. I'm going to the crib. You could come if you want to, but if you don't, that's cool too. And then it would be like a gradual like pull away.
Yeah.
Gradual like, oh, come over. Nah, not tonight. Oh, let's do this. Nah, not today. And then maybe don't answer the phone every time. And just kind of a gradual pull away until then it's a like trying to yank me back. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, but I'm already
far gone.
Yeah.
How do you feel like people get into situationships? Do you feel like there's an element of just the dating style, knowing your dating style, or is it that people just get super caught up in the moment?
I think it's both. I think for me, that's my typical type of
I was gonna say, I think
relationship.
it's not being clear on what you want. If you're not clear on what you want, you're gonna compromise what it is because you think you want this person, but it's like really if you think about what it is that you want, does this person align to that? And so that's how I'm approaching it now, I guess. It's like there's no point in us moving forward if you don't want the same things I want. You don't have to want to be in a relationship with me, but like if we are going to proceed with getting to know each other, you should know that you want a relationship for yourself.
For sure.
Right? Because that's what I'm looking for. So if you're not looking for that, then we're going to have issues off rip. So like I think it's people not knowing what they want. And I don't know, I think it's like short-term desires, you just sort of
fulfillment.
Yeah, like you're lonely in the moment, you want
that's
company.
how you stay in them or you get stuck in them.
Yeah, it's like
do your situationships from experience like dwindle out, or is it something happens, you feel are you impacted by something, or are you just kind of like, I want more, they don't, and now we end?
Yeah, I mean, I think they all end different ways. Sometimes it ends because one person wants something that the other doesn't. Sometimes there's a situation that occurs. Sometimes it's just there's just no like connection, chemistry. There's like you both know it's not really working. So I think they end for different reasons. But yeah,
ghost. There's a thing now I'm seeing here. Like, I have friends who are just being ghosted.
Oh, everybody gets ghosted now. Women ghost women, like, in friendships now. Like, it's crazy to me.
This is nuts. I'm like, well, rude. Your mama needed to teach you some manners.
Yeah.
Well, that ghosting.
MVP?
Toxic trait.
Let's hear it,
I don't think that I ghost, but, like, I think for me, that's, again, this is, the new and improved LB. We just are. The glow up is here because I hated, like, I didn't like those conversations. So I would always know if something ran its course and I was, like, checked out, but I didn't always want to talk about it. I didn't want to have the conversation. So rather than having the conversation, it's easier for me to just fade out.
Fair.
And, like, in hindsight, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I should not have done that to people. But I think for me, it's like I already know in my head and I'm already good. So it's like I'm out and I don't even feel like doing this whole exchange. But that's not fair.
Yeah, no, you're not leaving that. Not like that. You're not going out. Me? No.
People can't ghost you?
We're going to talk this one out.
Show up to the door like, da, 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 da.
No, no. But you're going to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
And no, I feel like, I mean, I've experienced being ghosted. Not something that like I experience frequently, but I have. And it's also one of those things where I'm like, you're weird.
Yeah. Yes.
Like if a man does it, you're weird. Grow up. At this big age, thank you, Jesus. Another one. Like, please. No.
Yeah, no.
That's out of control. I think that there's definitely and there's levels to that too, because how invested has the situationship been, whatever connection, etc. But like, I think at the same time, if you have someone that has extended grace to you, and you got like, depending on the type of relationship, I feel that at the end of the day, you should be able to kind of express the same way you express interest, the same way you express you want to fuck, the same way you can express and say, I think it's best for us to kind of do our own thing right now. This isn't working.
Yeah.
No, agreed. I mean,
Don't
there's no
try
reason.
me.
There's no reason for it. It's
The
just, it was
lack
just
of
me not wanting.
communication, yeah, it's tough. It's actually, to be on the side of being ghost, like, honestly, for me, one of the worst things you can do is actually just ignore me and not speak to me. You know what I mean? Like, that is, like, the absolute, because it's, like, to not even
people are gonna
acknowledge
hear
someone's
it, Sam,
existence, you
they're
know what I
gonna do it to
mean?
you. I just want to. The people are hearing it. They're gonna do it to you.
Wait, what people are hearing?
The people, whoever's listening.
They're going to do what? They're going to ghost me?
Yeah. No. They're gonna. Yeah. They're not gonna. They're gonna ignore you on purpose.
I mean, they could, bless up. Bless up. I mean, the quickest way to get out of my life is go ahead and do it. But, yeah.
When Sam says she's single, 4 exes in a row. See?
No, but I think that for me, it was just like, it was uncomfortable for me. I just didn't like communicating about stuff like that. But I think it's a part of growth, and I think it's a part of evolution. So,
Shout
I mean,
out to that.
fine. We can like have the conversation.
If
Fine
you're in a
with it.
situationship, send a Ask Alyssa. If you're looking for some kind of dating advice, send it through, because
Yes.
we're curious and we want to read. We want to hear, what situationship have you been in? How long has it been?
There's a time to move on or not.
Yes. Is it?
It probably is. It's probably time, y'all.
That's my problem.
If you got to ask the question, it's probably time.
That's the problem. I always give people the benefit of the doubt.
What do you want? What do you want?
Oh, I'm looking for a relationship.
You'd like a
Yeah.
relationship.
Not even a relationship. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I'm 34. So, yeah. And again, like, I'm not meeting people like, hey, do you want to get married? Right? Because, like, I don't need you to want to get married to me.
Right.
But I need to know that you know what you want. And you're very
Right.
clear about what you want. And if you say anything other than marriage or a relationship, then, like, what are we doing?
What are top 3 non-negotiables? And if you don't have 3, that's okay. You can just say 1.
Kindness is absolutely my, like, non-negotiable. Like, just kindness.
Just kind of.
To everybody?
Kindness to everybody, yeah. I actually really I think it's extra sneaky when people are kind to you only and not to other people. It's like deceiving to me. So like, it's especially important, not only that you're kind to me, but you're extra kind to my friends, to my family, to the waiter who's serving us. To
That's
the
a big one.
homeless person on the street. You know what I mean? Like, just kindness.
Got it.
I think that's huge. Like integrity. Like, how are you in every space?
Yeah.
Like, not just in the space that we share together, but like, I pay so much attention to how people treat wait staff, how people treat just bartenders, elderly. Are you holding doors for people? Are you, offering to carry a grocery if you see someone struggling? Are you, because I am, that's how I live my life. So I
Yeah.
just think integrity in every space of your life. I agree. That's a huge one.
Yeah.
What about you? What's one non-negotiable?
Honesty. That's one for me, that trust is everything. And when I was younger, that was one thing my mom used to say. She was like, when you break trust, it's like you smash a plate on the ground. It's never going to be its same shape, right? Like, you could try to put the pieces back together, but it's never going to look the same that it did.
It's true.
And that like always stuck with me, because I think that's true. Once someone breaks your trust, I think it's very hard to get back to that original space.
Great.
So that, and then also loyalty.
That was mine.
Like, anybody can love anybody. Okay. Like, literally. I met Kevin, the homeless man, at the bar yesterday, and he became my best friend. Love Kevin and the artist. I mean, we had a time yesterday. But
If you watch the stories, the stories told a story.
if you really want to know us, you have to follow us each individually and watch our stories, because we don't post the heat to the Heel Hot Girl page. Those are private stories. But loyalty to me is everything, because you can love everything, but you're not loyal to everything. So I have to know that when I'm not in the room, you're speaking highly of me, that you have my back. If somebody's speaking poorly about me, that you stick up for me. Or even if you don't, you just exit, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Just handling yourself in a way where I feel comfortable, because if I don't feel comfortable, nothing will happen. What about you, Jess? Sorry, I took yours.
No, it's okay. I mean, loyalty is really is at the forefront, as you were saying it. But part of it is also because it's something that I exude. Like, I'm very loyal to my people, hands down. And so I think one of the faults in me could be that me expecting that from people as well. Like,
I don't think that's a fault.
Oh, thank you.
It's not.
No, thank you. I'm human.
You're human.
I'm human. But I will say that's fine. Well, loyalty, and LB touched on it. But I think the other piece for me is definitely a man of faith.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's definitely where I am at this moment, and will continue to be. God.
And what is Jessica looking for right now?
Oh, we were clear, baby. Transparency,
Just transparency
and
and
consistency.
consistency.
Absolutely.
So not
And
necessarily a
whatever,
relationship.
however it shows up. Yeah, not a relationship. You're just looking for consistent people in your life and transparent people.
Yeah, like if you want to be on this train, like let's offer. We can offer each other energetically, but at this moment, like again, if it happens, it happens. But I would like to cultivate meaningful relationships. And
so you're not
connections.
actively looking. Essentially, if it happens,
No,
it
I'd say
happens.
the shooting days are over.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
you're not
my
actively
jumper is still good, but
We can hop in the 3-point competition if we want to. Come out of
my shooting
retirement.
days are over. And who am I? Because the problem is once it lands, like now Jesse's gonna in relationship, cuffed up next 6 years, and now we're like hot girl is missing. Okay, it's just the heel and the girl at this point. But yeah, no, that's really. Again, meaningful connections are super important, and just being intentional about who I'm sharing space with energetically, or even if I choose to be intimate. I've been abstaining for like 5 months, y'all, and it's crazy.
For you.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it at a different time, but I do feel like there's power in some level of creativity when you're abstaining. I don't know, but God,
We figuring it out.
lead me, Lord.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely steering clear.
Yeah. It gotta make sense.
Situationship LB is no more.
Yeah,
Hopefully. I hope. I don't know. I think that's Sam's right. I think if you set the intention in the beginning, and it doesn't have to be like, let's sit down and figure out our future right now. But I think you have to have the same goal.
You should both be clear on what you
Right.
want,
Yeah.
and they should hopefully align
Right.
before you continue.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when you sit down with the conversation, what do you want for your life? Because some men don't want to be married. Some men don't want children and are very clear in that. And to me, I don't see the point in continuing
Yeah.
to get to know this person if at the finish line,
Finish lines look different.
we don't have, like,
Yeah, we want
one's
different
going
things.
north and one's going south.
Yeah.
There's no way that's ever
Yeah.
gonna.
I also feel like some people, whoever it is, like they need to meet me where I'm at right now. Like I'm so focused. I'm like tunnel vision right now on the things that I want to do. I feel like I'm barely scratching the surface. I'm just really getting started. That's how I really feel like it's ramping. Things are ramping up, and I've realized that there's so much energy that I used to put in like relationships and those kind of dynamics, even situationships, that just knock me off emotionally. And a lot of that I'm giving to them, or the fact that my mind is, I'm waking up and I'm stressing out. The only thing I want to stress out about is HHG and my job, and that's it. And I'm not even stressed out about HHG. So
Yeah.
actually, no one should be stressing me out about anything. Like,
If my business isn't stressing me out, there's no reason why
yeah.
a situationship man
Oh no.
who holds. I shouldn't say that. Let me
No.
stop.
Do you guys get courted?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, you get courted.
Yeah.
What are some like things they've done?
I mean, they just planning dates. It's
Okay.
like normal dating stuff
Okay.
that this generation doesn't do, but like they hold doors, they plan dates, they, you know, like they make the first move, they
Yeah.
take the initiative. Like, yeah, definitely.
I think I was telling LB how like nowadays we call out the bare minimum things. Like, yo, I noticed he walked on the side of the sidewalk.
No,
Like,
we literally
why
hype
are
up
we
the bare
celebrating?
minimum. Yeah.
Like this is
Like, sir, thanks for not letting me get hit by a car. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Little things,
Say
no,
like little things
seriously.
that I'm like, yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, but it's those things that like because they don't happen so often, the one few, like literally, if
You're
a
like, oh,
man-
he's such a gentleman. He opened my door.
Well,
like,
because we got these men out. Like, I don't want to say the podcast
Vultures?
men because no, not even that. But they'll be, they want to be bad bitches.
Oh,
ooh, don't.
yes.
Wait, I saw the meme. I think
Yes.
someone of your family members posted it.
Probably.
She said, men who like to be texted first. What's your favorite lip gloss?
Okay.
And I was like,
Hello.
I mean,
No, it's true. It's true. It's like men want.
It's a phenomenon, especially in DC. I'm like, hello.
It's the tight pants. I'm convinced. They started wearing tighter pants. And
It
they
went to
started
their
wanting to
heads.
be-
They cut off the
I'm like, they're not
circulation to
even
their
funny.
heads.
I'm like, LB, why am I making myself laugh?
Yeah, that's another thing.
Why is my response like?
That's another thing. These men
I'm
are
all
not that
fun and-
funny.
I'm all fun and games.
Be more creative. Like, be funnier.
Jeez.
Like, you can't make me laugh. Like,
Bare minimum. There's a thing called bare minimum, boys.
Okay.
is it really? I
What is
remember
the bare
saying that.
minimum, boys?
I
I've
remember
never
calling
actually
one of
heard
my
this before.
Situationships that a bare minimum boy. I called one of my situationships.
Did
that.
you?
Yeah.
Bare minimum
Bare
boy.
minimum. Yeah, he did the bare minimum.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is terrible.
No, it is. And I think part of it, I'm like, does this work for you? Like, has this been working? I'm not sure. Where is this coming from? Because I can't be the first one that you're trying this on. So,
Oh. That's the thing. I think they've had too much success trying that shit on. and then, they meet you and it's like, wait a minute. But anyway.
no, I just think that sometimes, yes. I'm like, I don't know. We were in DC and I was like, what's going on?
I don't know.
What's that? Well, you guys.
Where are we at with time? How'd we do? Did we get through our questions? Did we put Jessica on the hot seat?
We haven't
I think we
pulled a
need
card
Jessica on the-
today.
Oh, wow. We
haven't.
didn't pull the
We went
cards.
straight into it. She went straight for the throat with the situationships.
The jugular.
We got to pull some.
Oh,
We're
man.
going to put Jessie on the hot seat first.
We love it.
So she-
Sizzle me, bake me at 350 degrees.
No, I think we asked this one before. What would I never want to change about myself?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No?
I
Okay.
like that question though.
What would I never want to change about myself? and
How
get
I
specific?
love. I don't ever want to change how I love. But I have learned that the way that I love may not be the way that everyone needs to receive that kind of love or the way that I know how to give love.
Yeah.
So I feel that in general, though, like how I show up for people is consistent, and how I can make someone feel and how I make the world feel. I don't want that to go. If it's
Yeah.
anything that I would want someone to remember me for, is just like the love that I gave.
I
Yeah.
love that.
In
What about
Jesus'
you?
name we pray, amen.
Amen. We been going to church every day. I hope y'all got your hands up. I would say like my genuineness. I think that one thing about me is there's one on one. I think I'm an original copy. So I think just who I am in my genuineness, how I cultivate relationships, how I manage them, how I maintain them, just all of that. I think the way the friendships, relationships, the people in my life, just the way that I interact, even with the outside. Like I said yesterday,
Oh, yeah. Out of
I
control.
think was just a testament. Like we were out and there was a man in there and he was fiercely drawing pictures of everybody in the whole bar. And
We'll show them on our stories.
yeah, actually we should because we each got one done. And I don't know what it was, but halfway through the night he comes up to me, he's like, and maybe he's done this before, I don't know, but people wanted to send him Venmo and like Cash App for making these pictures, and he didn't have that app. So he comes up to me and was like, people want to send me money, can they send it to you and then you take the cash out? And I'm like, me? Like, cause he pointed at me like through the crowd, and I'm like, what does he want? So I'm not thinking that. He's like, can you be my manager?
That's so cute.
But I think that just the way that
He felt like
people gravitate
It would
towards
be
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe energy, genuineness, whatever. I think whatever that little special sauce is,
Yeah.
I just never want to lose that. And like we were talking about before, just going through difficult times in our lives. And that was when I was going through a really hard time, that was one thing that I missed about myself, was like, I just didn't even feel that. It was like, I just don't have the bubbliness. I don't have the attitude I normally have, the positive attitude, just the energy. And I felt like I was missing that. And that was one thing that I prayed so hard to get back, was like, to me, was like just feeling like confident, move through rooms, talk to anybody. Like, you could drop me probably in the middle of almost anywhere and I would be able to walk out with a friend.
The whole block.
Yes, I will have a parade.
If animals weren't vicious, like she would come out like the Lion King, Tarzan, like
Yeah,
literally the whole tribe, like Jess.
yeah. But I love it, and I said it. I think in the very first or second episode, like, people are dope as fuck. Like, people as a whole, just moving through my career, was walking in random people's houses, having to have these conversations with complete strangers, and I just fell in love with people. People to me, I mean, there's definitely bad people, don't get me wrong, but I think the beauty of people is who they are. And I love everyone has a different story. Everyone has somewhere that they've come from. Everyone has something to share.
Yeah.
And I love bringing that out of people and giving, like, hopefully making them feel better than how I found them.
You have a beautiful heart, LB.
Thank you.
Testify to that.
Thank you. What about you, Sam? What's one thing you would never want to change?
My hustle, my
Facts.
ambition, because I gets to it, so, and I make it happen, so, yeah.
I was talking about it on the live that Sam, like, I met her at 17, 18, and she worked overnights, moved out at 18, got her own apartment. Like I said, I just started doing my laundry. Like, I'm just learning how to clean my fucking socks.
No, the laundry.
I completed my own FOSFA at 18.
Yeah, like, I
every
was
4
always
years
in
of-
awe of her because I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, was my mom, like, my parents would take care of, like, I just didn't need, like, her level of adulting at such a young age, but she never even blinked an eye, though. It was always just like, she just did it. And so I was always just like, wow, okay, well, shit, let me.
Shout out to my mama.
Yeah. So it was just, I would agree with that. It's been seeing you move through life on your, I don't want to say on your own, but so independently, going after what you want. Even, like I said, she would be like, nope, for spring, like, she would plan our spring break trips.
On my overnight.
Her overnight.
I'm crying.
I sure was.
So yeah, that's why it's extra special to see, I think, where you're at now, because I remember years ago talking about wanting to freelance and you wanting to really make it out on your own, but just not knowing how to do it yet, but just having faith in the vision and just kept working towards it. So, you know, to see it come to fruition and continuing to reach, like, new heights.
Yeah. That was the thing. I knew I was always, like, at some point I realized it's my work ethic. That's why I work the way I do. It's not because anybody's forcing me to. It's actually just my work ethic. So it's like, if I'm going to work that hard, like, I want to do it for myself, you know? Like, I want all that money coming to me.
Get money, Sam.
Get money, Sam.
Get money, Sam.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's a great place to wrap, I think. How do y'all
Agreed.
feel? That was
Thanks,
a beautiful
y'all.
episode.
Alrighty.
Episode
I love it. 6.
Situationships.
Situationships.
We survived.
We got through it, Sam. Good job. The minute I put that on the agenda, she was
literally
like,
put
no.
rebuke.
Rebuke.
But I just think it's such a relevant
It is.
a relevant thing for, especially, like I said, people our age. And after I saw that thing on my CoStar app, which, by the way, if you want to know more about, I think it's a really great guide on, like, just giving some insight to who you are if you're into that kind of thing. But when I saw that it ruled a generation and that we were having these unconventional relationships and changing the way that they were going to be, I was like, okay, well, this is making sense why we're all fucked up, why we're all, like, trying to figure it out. And especially why the older ones are looking at us like, why can't they get it together?
Yeah, like, what is talking?
Yeah.
Like, what, of course you're using your mouth to speak.
Yeah.
Like, your mouth's
But anyways, everybody, thank you for joining us for another episode of HHG. We cannot wait to see you next week. Until then, take care of yourself and of each other.
Yes, please like, follow, subscribe, download. We are streaming on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcasts, and YouTube every Wednesday. Bye.
Adios.